Alright guys, I'm making another recording today. This is going to be Visual Basic versus C# versus Java versus HTML and JavaScript. So I'm basically just going to take a couple programming languages, show you the similarities, show you the differences and how they look, function, and the way the code is set up. I've got to do this quick, so pause, fast forward, and rewind where you need to, but I've got to be quick because I have a limit on the recording time based off the program I'm using. So we're going to start off with Visual Studio 2012. As always, we're going to do a new project. We're going to switch the language Visual Basic. We want to make a Windows app. Format, change the name here. We're going to call all of these verse. That way I can always pull them back up. So verse. Here it goes. We're going to load the project up, and boom. What we're going to do is just show how to make a simple program that when a button's clicked takes a text box info and changes it a label. Text. So we'll throw our test box up here. I don't want coupons right now. And we're going to set the label text right now to nothing so that when we change it, it's going to show up there as a label. Okay, so in Visual Basic, pretty easy. Click the button, it takes you right into that action event. And then we're just going to say label1.text equals textbox1.text. And some of you that watched my programs before are pretty familiar with this. And we're also going to do textbox1.clear because we want to clear out the info that's there. And yep, that's it. Okay, so this one throws a little curly bracket, so that's it. But it's literally 4 lines of code, technically 5 or 6. But let's debug it, see if it works. So we type SD shows up. Cool. Alright, so that program, that's how quickly you can create that project in Visual Basic. You have a working project that fast. Now let's switch over to C# and see if C# is any harder. And this one's going to be called verse as well, which is going to be really hard. Yeah, can't do that. So, because I already have one in the same project folder. C#. Actually, it's C#. Yeah, verse C#. Let's go. Okay, can't have funny symbols. Verse C. There you go. Alright, and same thing as before. Look at that, the GUI's almost the same. We're going to put a button. We're going to put a text box if I could ever find one. And we're going to put a label. In the properties of the label, we're going to set the text to nothing. And then we're going to click on the button. Look, it takes us right to that action event. So let's go label1.text equals textbox1.text. And I'm going to have to put curly brackets and then text box, or the semicolon, 1.clear. But I did not do that right. No, it requires those, so I'm going to throw them on there. See? There you go. No errors because ID would show up if there was an error, like say I didn't have these bars. Yeah. Oh, yep, see, there you go. It gives me an error. It tells me it needs something. What does it tell me it needs? Yeah, it says clear's got to have that little close parentheses, so let's do it. So let's make it say hi. Boom, it says hi. Imagine that. Okay, so using Visual Studio, that was pretty easy to do all of that. Now let's go into Eclipse and let's build something in Java. Most of you guys know, if you know me or follow my tutorials, I started in Java. It was my first true object-oriented programming language. Not the biggest fan of Java, and I've already wrote this code, but I'm going to write it again for you. Java's what it is. It's cross-platform, and it is powerful when you get down to it, so it's okay, I guess. So we're going to call this verse 3, or let's call it verse J since it's Java. And that's pretty much it. We're going to right-click that. Oh, look, we're having to do more work already because it's Java. We're going to have to new other. What do we want? Window Builder, which was a extension I added, so you have to add that into your IDE. Good stuff, but that's not the point. We're trying to just talk about code today, and we'll call this start. And for naming convention purposes, always capitalize your classes. And there you go. Program comes up. I'm going to open my designer. And cool, I got a little thing here. But first, before I can even do anything with this, I have to set a layout. I'm setting it to absolute. I'm going to grab a text field. It's the equivalent of a text box in JavaScript. So now I'll put a new label. And oh, I should have just set the text right then, but whatever. I'll show you how to do this in Java. So just go over here, go to your properties. We're on the label. Text is new label. Text is nothing now. There you go. And we need a button. Everybody likes a button. And this IDE is kind of cluttered, but I like it, so I don't care. Okay, so now when we click this button, it's going to take us to the code. What do we want to do? And because of the way I set this up, everything's going to probably work right off the bat. But if I had, say, created the button first, I'd actually have to move it down here because the button doesn't work without all of these things being declared. So just like word of advice, if you're working in Java, do your buttons last. It's made my life easier, so maybe yours too. So now we're going to do the label, and I believe that was enough. You know what? The good thing about Java is everything's in the code, so that's the name of that variable. No, not that. It's label new label. And you shouldn't leave your variables the defaults, but we're going to set that to set text, and instead of doing dot text, we do dot set text in Java. And then for the actual text we want it to be this text field. And I should have named the text field too, but we're going to do text field dot get text. So I couldn't just do label.text equals text field dot text. I have to throw it into the actual parameters of that variable, and then you get multiple parentheses. Good stuff. And then, oh, look at that, it gives me an error, but Eclipse is an awesome IDE. It fixes on its own. You just right click and it'll tell you how to fix it. Okay, and then we also want to set this to nothing, but in Java there is no dot clear, so we'll just have to do dot set text, and it does give us options though. We can set it to null. So alright, there we go. Let's debug it, see if it works. And look, the application looks pretty similar. I mean, the icon's different, but the general look and feel are pretty darn close. So we'll do hi, and look at that. Works exactly like the other application. Functionally, it is the same application, but as you can see, there's a lot more code here. Now, all this code that you're seeing here would have been hidden in C#, but whatever. So, exit out of that. I also did it in HTML, and we'll open that with Notepad. And I'm just going to show you the code real quick. So all I did was just do a simple form that said there'd be a text box, and then there'd be a button, and then there'd be an area for the text to show up in. And then this simple function that just said take that value of this and change this to this's value and get rid of this when this button is clicked. So that's what the code says to do. And we're just going to test it to make sure it's functionally working. And hello. Okay, obviously it works. So there you go, guys. That's my program for today. I hope you all enjoyed, and thanks for tuning in. As always, like, comment, and subscribe.